Hello children. In the previous class you have learnt about how the water absorption takes place by the root hairs and also what is root pressure. Now the same is applicable for the transportation of water and also the mineral salts. So whatever the salts which are present in the soil are in the mixed form, means in the ionic form. For example, sodium chloride. If you see Na plus and Cl minus, here Na, sodium is the positive with the Cl minus. Same as the magnesium sulfide also you can see both the ions. So the absorption of these minerals, it takes place, means the process of diffusion may not helpful for the cell. For this, the cell requires another process that you learn in the next higher classes. But how the water is transported and how it is, means the excess water is escaped from the leaves. For that we are going to perform an activity. Take a potted plant, cover a branch with a polythene cover. See as shown in the figure. So in the previous class only we have learned the root hairs absorption takes place by the process of osmosis and every cell acts as the osmotic living cell. Every living cell acts as the osmotic cell and through the semi-permeable membrane of the cell, the absorption of nutrients and water takes place from one cell to the adjacent cell by the process. So, when the water reaches the xylem vessels, this water will reach to the leaves where the food materials are prepared. So, the mesophyll cells are present in the leaves where the chloroplast and food materials are prepared. So, when it reaches, it contains small pores called stomata. The excess water is escaped from the stomata. When we wrap the branch with the polythene cover, you can see small water droplets inside the cover and also on the leaves. That is nothing but that is the transpiration. The excess water is removed from the leaf through the stomata. We call it as transpiration. But the lenticels also helps on the stem, which are present on the stem, helps for the transpiration. Some amount of water is also escaped, means releases from the plant. So, this is the activity by which we can show the transpiration, how the transpiration takes place. Next one, how the amphiid plants absorb the nutrients. Amphiid has a long beak called proboscis, which injects its beak inside the phloem tubes. See, if you observe, these are the xylem vessels, these are the phloem vessels. The xylem helps in the transportation of water from the roots to the above part of the plant where the food materials prepared, and the food materials which are prepared in the leaf are again sent to the phloem vessels to the roots. When these proboscis are injected inside the proboscis which into the phloem and suck, it will pierce the sugars which are prepared in the leaf. Means the phloem are transporting the food materials which consisting of sugars and nutrients. These are pierced by the proboscis of the amphiid. Means the amphiid is depending on the plant. for its food materials. So in such situations, the plant may not get the adequate amount of nutrients or sugars. The next one, if you see, when you cut the outer ring of the plant, the outer ring of the bark, and leave it for some days, you may see growth. Why? Because the phloem and the xylem vessels are not disturbed here. So the water transport system is there. But here you can see some growth of the above part of the plant. You can see some bulged part and the above of the cut part where we cut the ring. Why? Because here the phloem tubes are not present. So the supply of the food materials are disturbed here because of the cut ring. By this we can say the phloem and xylem are responsible for the transport of nutrients. There are some animals like aphids, like squirrel, these are also damages the plants, crops. So the foresters will support the foxes and some other animals to let into the forest. Why? Because they eat these animals and help the forest. By this we can say how the transportation system takes place. Till now we have learned about the transport system in the plants. I think you may know about this experiment. You have to write in the activity form. It is also one important question. By this we have finished our chapter. Thank you children. See you in the next class.